Hey, I don't know very long. Let's see how many people joined so far. I'll make this stream will be available to playback later. Let me see something. Yeah, I'm gonna set this up for people to be able to watch the stream back later if people show up late. So I'm just gonna get going because I really don't have a lot of time. I'll dive right in. Since I'm here, this was my BTC. I just sold a small portion, a quarter of my position here in this entry. I mean, this was a really surgically precise entry on Bitcoin. I got in right over here, dipped down ever so slightly, but my trendline support held. The ascending triangle I predicted broke out just like I said it would. And since the top, we're up 5%. Since this entry, up about 9%. And since my first entry, up over 11%. So that's good. I sold to take a small profit because I have 15x leverage on this. I had like a 10x and a 20x leverage position, but averages out to about 15x. So I sold a small bit to take some profit. The rest I'm going to hold. We'll see what happens. Now, my ultimate longer term target was like 54.6K. I just wanted to I really only have a few minutes, so I'll be quick, but I wanted to remind you guys of my longer term model. So I talked about this in some of my recent live streams, but for people who aren't around for that, let me just show you. So I'm also going to mention FATAPaMP again, like I did in the last stream. So if I go back to the monthly, I don't think this Bittrex chart's that bad. Some of my other charts are just, there's no way in hell. There's too much stuff on them. I can't show you. That's why I kind of moved on to this new Bittrex chart, because I have like a bunch of Bitcoin charts. If you look, I have all these different Bitcoin charts are so full of stuff. See all that? Like you can't even really see anything on these charts because I have too many data and too many points on it from charting it. But this one's relatively empty. So let me show you. So from the original run up for the bull run in 2017 to the top before the correction was wave 1, wave 2 took us back down to 3,200. For those who aren't around, I predicted 3,280 as the bottom of this correction a year in advance. Like, it was pretty nuts. So my long-term models are generally pretty accurate. Then on the way up, I thought we were going to get a big extended correction around here somewhere before we pumped, but we just went right into the bull run, which is fine. I'm happy to be wrong about that. So initially, my target for wave 3 here, so we had 1, 2, wave 3 target was the 1618 extension at about 35K. I said if we break that, then the next target's the 2618 extension at 54K. And sure enough, we got there. When I first said, hey, we broke a 35, we're definitely going to be going up to 54K, a lot of people didn't believe me. Well, spot on. So go fuck yourself. Now, we can still break the 2618 extension and continue all the way to 74K. And I wanted to briefly explain why. The reason why I am not selling all of my Bitcoin in anticipation of a huge correction once it hits 54 to 54.3. I don't want to sell all the way at 54.6. I'm going to sell a little bit lower, so about 54.3, 54.2. I'll close some of my long-term Bitcoin positions. Obviously, the current position, I'll probably just close that out, that short-term trade I showed you that I answered last night. And I think what I'll do is my long-term, my big long-term Bitcoin bags, as well as Ethereum, I'm going to sell like probably half of all of that. Even if we don't have that as the final top with like a huge correction, we may get a nice dip. So I'll probably sell 50-60% of my entire Bitcoin position, because I think we're going to correct there. And if we do push higher, I could buy back in. So if I sell 50-60% of all of my Bitcoin and all of my Ethereum and all of my Litecoin for that matter, all the majors, and I have some Bitcoin Cash too. If I sell all the majors, like 50-60% of my positions, when we get to this 2618 extension, if we do get a correction, I could buy it back down lower. And if we don't get the correction yet and we pump higher and start going above that 2618 extension, I could buy it back. Because if that happens, there's a reasonably good chance we're going to run all the way to the 3618 extension on this bull run to 74K. That would become the next target, and that would be incredible. The reason why that's possible, if you stand by a second, I want to make sure the stream is working, because I had to tweak my network real quick. Let me just double check. 30 seconds. Yeah, it looks like we're good. Cool. For those who showed up late, you can rewatch this stream back from the beginning once we're done. I just don't have a lot of time. I only have a couple more minutes, so I wanted to get started right away. And I want to show you guys really quickly my other trades that I shared last night publicly, doing really well. So my model's extremely accurate right now, to say the least. So in any case, FATAPaMP refers to fundamental analysis, technical analysis, people, and market psychology. Those are the 4 different data sets that I use. I don't say I'm a technical trader. I don't say I'm a fundamentals trader. When people say that, they're missing out because there are a ton of data sets that can make you a very successful trader, that can give you a lot of analytical insight, help you predict the future pretty much. I joke about having a time machine because my techniques and my strategies and my models are so incredibly accurate that I'm able to look at past behavior and build that into my model to predict future activity and what the future targets may be. In order to do that, you need to consider multiple types of data sets. So I don't limit myself to only technicals. If I was, I would say this 2618 extension is going to be the top. Once we hit it, I'm going to liquidate all of my positions in anticipation of a huge correction. However, I commonly refer to this FATAPaMP data analysis model as a way to remind you guys that you don't want to limit yourself only to the technical models, even if they happen to be very accurate and you're very successful with the technicals. You want to consider other things. Based on market psychology, based on what we're seeing with fundamentals, based on what we're seeing with traditional investors entering the market right now. I have clients, I do IT and home automation, smart homes, things like that, and I consult for essentially the top 0.1%, very wealthy people. And a lot of my clients know that I do this, and they've been asking me to help them get into Bitcoin. Some of them are Fortune 500 CEOs. So these guys are interested in getting into Bitcoin. Traditional investors are interested in getting into Bitcoin. This is very early in the bull run, in my opinion, based on those variables, based purely on the technicals, given how parabolic we've been, especially looking back using 2017 as a model. I would say we're about to dump and go into a 6 to 12 month long correction once we hit the 2618 extension. But again, I'm not limiting myself only to my technical models. I'm taking into account people, I'm taking into account market psychology and overall sentiment, and I'm taking into account fundamentals. It's very important you do that and diversify your models and not focus only on one particular type of trading as a technical or a fundamentals trader, right? So that being said, because of all those other variables, if we were to break the 2618, we still have the potential to reach 74. If we get to 74, the chances of a correction are even greater than right here, because there are limits to how far you can pump in a parabolic sequence like this before you simply max out and can't go any higher until you have a reset. You're going to need to have people taking profits, and that's why those resets are so crucial. You have people in the market who are making tens of millions of dollars, certain bigger investors, they are going to take profit. There's no way if this thing breaks $54.6 thousand for one Bitcoin, there's no way they're going to hold for 74K. A lot of them are going to take profit. The only question is whether the new retail money coming into the market can keep pushing us up and eat up their sell orders. Because once their sell orders hit the order books, it's going to be hard to keep pushing up higher, right? So I just wanted to give you a quick reminder on my longer term BTC model. And again, why I'm not turning bearish suddenly because it's hitting my resistance and my key target. I'm still bullish because of those other variables. I don't really have time to take questions. If you type 1 or 2 questions in the YouTube chat, I will take them. Just like 1 or 2 questions. In the meantime, let me quickly run through the other stuff. So my trades that I got into last night, I got into FTM and Link. Unfortunately, I got in a little bit early and they dumped, and I got stopped out because those were lower risk short-term trades. I was willing to get stopped out if I didn't get the right entry. BTC, my entry was just beautifully precise. It was perfect. My model worked flawlessly. I had my Ichima dynamic supports, my 9090 EMA, and then on the hourly and the 4-hour, we had the cloud as well. Plus, we had a trend line support, creating an ascending triangle formation here. Overall, very bullish. Go back and watch my video from last night if you haven't seen it yet. Make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube. That breakout call was flawless. So I'm doing very well on this short-term entry on BTC for that reason. The other trades that I made last night. Now, I never pulled the trigger on getting into XMR, but if you watch my stream last night, I said XMR, Zcash, Dash, all about to pump, as well as Quantum. I said the same thing about Quantum. I only pulled the trigger. Oh, I said LRC as well. I said those were all extraordinarily bullish. The only one I pulled the trigger on was Dash. So I'm up a bit on Dash, doing well. I'm up 10%. I wish I pulled the trigger on Zcash and XMR because that was down here. I would be up 25, 23% on XMR if I got in at the time. But hopefully some of the people who follow me got in because they saw the model I was sharing and they saw how accurate that was. Some of my other short-term trades that are still open from my last entry, Key is one of them. So I obviously caught this pump on Key from the bottom. I should have actually added more to my position because it was sitting on right on one of my key supports, and it pumped 30%. So I'm doing well on Key, back close to where my all-time high was. And my other open position was MTL. I'm doing well on MTL still up 28% on MTL. And then my XLM and ADA trades got closed out, so I'm not in those anymore. I have a long-term position on IOTX ever since I caught the big pump, and I never sold because it's a longer-term position. I'm still holding some of that, still holding some COS long-term, still holding UMA long-term, UNI long-term, and I still have my long-term LRC position from back down here. When I bought back down here, I'm still in that position. So on that one, I'm still up 85%. I think I still have some other longer term positions. I think HOT got closed out. MPXS, I'm still open on that one. In fact, I doubled down and added to my position down here. So this last pump for 40%, it's now up 20%. If you guys got in with me when I shared it a few days ago, oh no, it was down here. I'm still in from that entry. Or no, it was after that, sorry. In any case, I'm up a lot on that one. My VTHO trade, I never got back into. I got a small bag, but I think I may get a bigger bag because I got this whole run from the beginning, and that was my best 10x. That was my only 10x play so far this year. I ended up selling this for about 880 to 900% profit up here before the big correction. And I'm going to get back into a longer term position. I just haven't done it yet. I may consider doing that relatively soon. We're getting close to the cloud here on the 4 hour. Once we get back to one of those key Ichima dynamic supports, either the 55 EMA or the top of the cloud, I'm going to consider getting back into a VTHO position. Other than that, I think I have some other long-term stuff open like DOT. I'm not going to get into those now, especially since I don't have the time. Yeah, so from down here when I got into my long-term bag, I'm actually up almost 600% on my DOT long-term bag. Just no short-term trades lately on it. Not since the end of January. I haven't made any short-term trades on DOT, but I'll share some trades later. I'm probably going to make some new short-term trades today. Now, what questions did you guys have? Are we due for a temporary correction? Love from Norway. You're awesome. Thank you, brother. Is Adam selling news coming now? I wouldn't say to necessarily sell it because we are in a hyper bullish market. And watch my live stream from last night. I went over what it means to be hyper bullish and extra technical. I talked about that a couple times in the last 2 videos I did. Not my live stream, but the last couple videos I did. I talked about being A, extra technical, and B, hyper bullish. And as far as are we due for a temporary correction, like I said, I think when we get to that 2618 extension, there's a good chance BTC could have a temporary correction, but I'm not 100% sold. So when we hit that 54.6, we may get a correction that takes a week or two where we come back down 15-20%. That is very possible. I'm just not going to bet on it. I'm going to sell a decent amount of my position, and then if it keeps running up, I'll buy back in. And if it does correct, I'll be very happy that I sold half of my entire position because I'll be able to buy it back in once we get that 15-20% correction. I don't think we're going to get the big long-term 6-month correction, meaning it's the end of the bull run. I don't think that's here yet. Like I said, even though my main target for this bull run is that 54.6K, and all the people who doubted that we would get there can go screw themselves because I was spot on. If we break past that, there is still a chance we go all the way to 74,000. It is very, very possible. So for that reason, I'm not going to liquidate everything. But if we do get a big correction from 54.6K and I sell a big chunk right at the top, I'll be very happy. I'll buy back in at the bottom. And if we end up passing that few weeks and keep going into that 6 to 12 month bearish market correction, which again, I don't think is going to happen yet. If it does happen, fine. I'll make money on the way down. Just like I did. I learned how to become a successful trader in a bearish market. For anybody who's in this live stream who came in late, You can watch it back from the beginning. I'm going to stop it in a couple minutes, so a couple quick announcements. You can watch it back from the beginning because I went over some key important stuff. I want you to see everything. And for people who aren't in Flux Trading Group, my private group, I just told everybody on my Telegram that because Twitter banned me, I no longer have 20-something thousand followers. It's really hard for me to reach people, to bring people into the community. I really want to grow all of my social medias, so make sure you join my Telegram, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube, and if you're in a position to do so, no pressure, you don't have to, if you are in a position to do so, you can join my VIP group, Flux Trading Group on Discord. It's a paid group where I share every trade I make, I share all of my analyses, I share tons of video. I'm always around to chat and to give input for premium members. I'm available for one-on-one phone calls to talk about strategy or help you guys work out specific trades. And I'll do one-on-one mentoring and one-on-one phone calls here and there as needed. And then I do live streams for premium members, just like we're doing now, except much longer, much more in-depth, where we do live trading. And I also do a lot of educational work where we could do a live stream just like this and spend an hour working just on using Fibonacci or just on using Elliott Wave. And for noobs who aren't that familiar, I have a lot of live streams I can refer you back to and you can play them back, where I talk about the most basic noob stuff, like introduction, technical analysis, what it means, how do you use it, what is TradingView, how do you first get into TA, how do you first get into day trading, how do you do paper trading to practice your techniques. I do it all. So whether you're an advanced trader or a beginning trader, I would love the opportunity to help teach you everything that I know, everything I've learned, and share all of my work with you, because my analyses and my models are extremely accurate, and if it can help you to become a more successful trader, that would make me very happy. So again, if you're in a position to join the group, it would really mean a lot to me. I would appreciate the support. And if you're not in a position to do so and you can't spend any money, I completely understand. I'd still encourage you to watch all of my videos on YouTube. Go back and watch them all. I have a lot of free videos on there that are available without having to join the paid group. And I also post lots of free content on Telegram, and I even started expanding, and I'm using Instagram now as well since Twitter banned me. All right, so that's it for now. I got to run, but I will do a stream later tonight with the VIP group, and I'll be available for those guys all day. If you need to chat, just hit me up in our Discord group. And anybody else who's not in the group, you could try to reach out on Telegram. I'm not as responsive on Telegram as I am in the paid group, but if you need me, you can ping me on Telegram, and I should get right back to you. And again, for people who showed up late, since some people just joined the stream, I'm ending the stream now, but you can go back and watch it from the beginning. We covered some really good content, so I encourage everybody, as soon as I finish the stream, go back and watch it from the beginning if you showed up late. I'm shutting it down now. Go back and watch it. It'll probably take 10 minutes to process, then you can watch it back from the start. Thanks again. If you have questions for me at all about the market, whatever, hit me up in chat, and especially if you have questions about joining the private group, again, it would mean the world to me if you guys could help support me. You could even watch the video I just posted where I explained the whole situation on YouTube. I just posted a video, so you can go check that out. All right, guys, thanks a lot. I'll talk to you in a bit.